All right, folks. JP the third for Venus now, and we are back with more Suzerain. We are still well within the first turn. We've been playing for over an hour and just kind of in awe of all the changes and setting things up. So, I believe in this one we should get to the inauguration ball and all the events that happen there, and then we should get into the meat of the game. So, this is just a notification that we vetoed the finance bill, which Prince Richter liked. New bill that further expands on the unfairness of our election system has been approved by the Grand National Assembly and later vetoed by President Rayne. Rayne deserves credit for crushing the undemocratic proposal, even though it came from his own party and would have benefited himself. Yeah. I really like that we have a picture of the family now. But yeah, in order to do what we need to do and keep certain factions and other things on our side moving forward, that was the best move. Let's go ahead and pick up where we left off. Yeah, we're still in turn one. We got some stuff we need to do. Lockman. The Ministry of Economy has put forward two bold plans for mega infrastructure projects that would help with the economic recession in the long term. Investing in projects of this scale will take up some portion of our budget, but could prove worthwhile if accomplished successfully. Yeah. I would be very interested in another run. I would be interested in, it would have to almost be an autocrat run or a communist run, where you try and revive the economy without doing a mega infrastructure project. Like, you hold on to that piece of the budget and you just hope like the market turns around and nothing big happens, because you just get so much from doing, really it's the L1, but if I've done runs where if you do the H1 highway going into Agland, you get a pretty substantial chunk of money too. So you just get so much done in terms of production and cash just from that project. I have to look this up later. Maybe there is a couple of runs out there where people have just said, yeah, we're gonna hold on to that part of the budget and just go for it and see how far we can get. I imagine it was interesting, to put it mildly. The view towards the Marakian Sea from Lockhaven was nothing short of exquisite. The seaside estate residence, fittingly named the Blue Mansion, was large, fine, and accommodating. But enjoying the luxurious mansion wasn't the main reason of our visit. We gathered the economic team here to discuss the new infrastructure investment project. Half an hour had already passed since the start of the meeting. Unfortunately, I did not even have a chance to have my usual afternoon coffee. Looking at the view from the windows, I let my mind drift for a couple of seconds. Simon's voice brought me back to the ongoing discussion. Mr. President, we need to focus on boosting the economy as quickly as possible. One of the fastest ways to achieve this is through infrastructure projects. What can we focus on? On the one hand, businessmen are complaining about the slow logistical rail network between Holsworth and Lockville. Lilia started talking as soon as Simon took a breath, as she is wont to do. On the other hand, citizens are criticizing the lack of a proper highway connection between Lockville and Arvery. The narrow roads by the seaside are not only dangerous, but also difficult to traverse. We need to pick the most profitable option for economic growth, which is obviously connecting our two most economically powerful cities. It is not business people who are suffering now, but ordinary folk. What really matters is that your first economic act accomplishes something tangible. Correct. We must prove our capabilities. People must know that this administration can get things done. To that point, I defined two important projects for your attention: the H3 Highway Project and the L1 High-Speed Railway Project. I think I called it the H1 instead of the H3. Mr. Hall repositioned himself on his chair. The ministry can only support one project at a time with our current capacity and budget. Let's move on to the details of each. So, Which one do you want to hear about first? The L1 high-speed rail project. Your predecessor, Alfonso, failed to deliver on his campaign promise, but now we have the opportunity to start the construction of a groundbreaking railway project. As you know, our current trains cannot meet the standards of today. As many other countries adopt new electric engine technology to power up their trains, we're falling behind. News about new electric trains in United Katana has piqued our businesses' interest. They too want to transport resources and material from Horslook to Lackman with great speed and efficiency. This could also power businesses and bring investments. This should be our priority: growth and development optimization. Our plan is to upgrade the old L1 line from Horslook to Lackman. It will transform into a high-speed railway. What is he now? Yeah, rural development, yeah. Trying to throw everybody in this cabinet a bone is going to be tricky. Gus was pointing at Hulsor while Simon was looking attentively. Plan construction starts right here at the capital. From there we'll go to Enrica first, and connect to Gelsword. After which it will reach Lockhaven. I got there eventually. Our economic powerhouse. He leaned forward. The old one will significantly boost the economies of the newly linked cities and even the rural areas in between. Lockhaven is our primary port, so the goods unloaded there will be transported to Hawthorne much faster. Yes, we should link these rural areas in the middle with the major cities of Sordland. We're talking about the wealthiest regions and forgetting about Adland, which needs the investment far more. The mayor of Enrica, Curtin Lest, also requested the project be prioritized. Businessmen in the region will be very content, which in turn will increase the investment and employment. Therefore, I will recommend the L1 high-speed rail project. Very interesting, but I still want to hear about the highway project. The H3 project aims to improve the abysmal state of the road network in the Agland region bordering Agnolia. The area is home to several million Agno-Sordish and Sordish who currently feel neglected. There are no proper highway connections to and from Adland. The mayor of Arvery, Eric Neal, has been asking for a bigger budget to develop the region's infrastructure. He told us that even trucks are having a hard time traveling through the main roads. The increased traffic is causing trouble for people commuting in and out of the region. This must be cumbersome for the citizens. It is, bless their souls. I'm happy we're thinking alike on the matter. Let's take a more detailed look at the upgrade proposal. Lilith was pointing at Lockhaven. The H3 highway route starts here in Lockhaven, and from there it leads to Lindkirk. From there, it goes all the way to Arvery. As a result, the road network towards the Agnolian capital, Stahlport, will also improve substantially. She paused and leaned forward in her chair. As mayor, I saw the central government continuously neglect our country's Agno-Sordish dominated regions. Is this administration going to continue that kind of negligence? Agno-Sordish citizens should be respected as Sordish like all of us. Yes, there should be no preference or separation amongst the Sordish citizens. Among Sordish citizens. I got there. Meaning we should think about what's best for the country overall. It has to be pointed out that the highway would be less beneficial in the short term. I have to disagree. It will increase the speed of transportation to the region. Our citizens will be quite pleased if we successfully accomplish this. Besides, if we enter trade talks with Agnolia, they will see the investment as a positive sign. Excellent. What will your final choice be, Mr. President? There is just, having played both, there is just no comparison to the benefits of the high-speed rail project. I don't think I will ever do, well, if I just do a fully closed off either communist or autocratic run and don't do any trade deals at all, then I would pick the highway project. But if everything still works like I think it does, even with the upgrade, We should still be able to do it, it just won't be right now. But they'll still get their highway. I've decided on an L1 high-speed rail project to improve the connection between our most productive citizens. The right choice, Mr. President. The negotiations will begin in the middle of the year. You will be able to award the contract to a corporation of your choice. The ministry estimates the construction will be completed in 2 years if every step going forward is executed successfully. Thank you all for your contributions and thoughts. Have a good day. See you soon, Mr. Rayne. Screw you, Miss Graff. Have a nice day, Mr. President. Evening settled on the beautiful coastline of Laguna. Some things never change. I like this breakdown quite a lot. So the Agno Swordish are technically the next highest minority. Nope. The Blutish? The Blutish. Hey, the Blutish are the second highest minority, are the first top minority in Sordland. They are first in the Agno Swordish, Vesic, and the Agnolands. That makes sense considering the region. Because I will 100% get that back. I don't think I'll be able to give anything, at least right now, in terms of personal wealth to Sergey. But we'll see. We'll see at the timing of that event. If I get some money back in time, which I should be able to do a bit more. I had just finished buttoning up my suit jacket when the doorbell rang. The presidential guard had arrived to pick us up for the inaugural ball. The ball was a 3-decade-old tradition, restlessly anticipated by politicians, bureaucrats, and the press. All eyes were about to be on me. I called on Monica to get the children ready. Looking in the mirror, I straightened my tie and took a deep breath. After tonight, there'll be no turning back. Suddenly, Diana hugged me from behind, startling me a little. Monica had fixed her hair into an elaborate braid woven through with ribbons. Papa, Mama told me it's time to go. I stroked her hair. You could be president yourself someday, you know that? Only when I'm old like you. Wow. Kids today have no respect. It was almost time to leave. The big ball was starting less than an hour. Now, where's my first lady? Monica came down the stairs. She was wearing a simple yet elegant beige sheath dress and short heels. Her hair had been neatly pinned into a chignon. I don't know how to pronounce that, and I apologize to anybody I just offended. Showing off the pearl earrings I had given her for our 15th anniversary. All those years, she had stayed by my side. Now we were about to begin the most challenging chapter in our lives yet. How do you do, Mr. President? Just stand there and look at her like a nerd. She extended a gloved hand, and I raised it to my lips. Monica, my love, you look as gorgeous as the day we married. Now there's that charm that got you elected. Frank trudged down the stairs. Sting itches. Frank tugged at the collar of his new tuxedo. He seemed ill at ease. I'm glad to have you with us for this big night. Sure, Dad, I'm just dying to go. Papa, are these people going to be around us from now on? She pointed at the presidential guards at the door of the house. These people are our friends, Deanna. It's alright, baby. They're here to make sure nothing bad happens to your papa or his family. Monica held Deanna's hand. Together, flanked by the guards, we walked out the door. Halfway to the car, Frank stopped abruptly and turned towards me. Dad, do I really have to go? Can I stay home instead? Okay, so I'm not going to do it because I'm not a heartless bastard. But there have to be some runs out there where you can just be an absolute dick to your family. And I'm sure it's hilarious. But hilarious in the sense that it's so... the vast majority of interpretations of Rayne is that he's just not that kind of person. And yet you could go that way, but not so hilarious in the fact that you'd be an abusive asshole. But that's a whole different playthrough. I'm not gonna do it this time around. Wait, I didn't mean to do that though. Back it up, back it up. Yes. Last checkpoint. Hit the wrong thing. That still made me sound like an ass. I was just I'm doing my best. I'm trying not to be an asshole, and yet, we will attempt that again, shall we? Here we go. I'm nervous myself, Fawn, but I feel a lot more confident with my son by my side. Fawn smiled reluctantly. Well, when you put it like that, sure, let's go. The presidential guards showed us the way as red and blue lights flashed around us. Suzerain, my driver, ushered us into the armored limousine. The motorcade started moving towards the palace. I gazed out the window, deep in thought. Anton, what are you thinking about? I was thinking we've come a long way together, haven't we? Yes, we have. And there's still so much that we'll accomplish side by side. Just remember, no matter what happens, the children and I will always be here for you. I'm gonna help Papa fix everything. Frank rolled his eyes. I know you will, honey. This means a great deal to me. After what seemed like just a few minutes, the convoy slowed to a halt. Sergei rolled down the limousine's soundproof partition. We're here, sir. Hope you enjoyed the drive. Much appreciated. How are you today, Sergei? I'm just as good as I can be, but today is your day, sir. I'm glad you're in charge now. You know, my entire family voted for you. Thank you, and your family. I'm here with all of your support. No reason to thank me, sir. You are the one who sparked a glimmer of hope in us all. Sergei opened the door for me. The normally imposing palace was festooned with garish banners that nearly made it look cheerful. A line of shiny luxury sedans stretched around it. Politicians, bureaucrats, and celebrities. The creme de la creme of the Sordland elite, or Swordish elite. We'll go with that. Streamed inside the building. Good luck out there, Mr. President. I'll see you on the trip home. I stepped out and immediately found myself surrounded by loud voices and camera flashing. Hordes of eager journalists thrust their portable microphones my way. My guards fended most of them off, but one woman managed to dodge them and corner me. I recognized the Swordish Broadcasting Company logo on her press lanyard. Mr. President, do you plan on working together with the opposition parties on the expected constitutional reforms? If the opposition is willing to support us, Mr. Richter clarified that as long as you hold your promises of democratization, they will support you on these issues to the end. What do you think about this statement? We want the other parties to join him in this endeavor. One more question. One of your first acts as president was to veto a campaign finance law that would have deprived small parties of public funds while increasing those channeled to your own. Are we seeing the beginning of a more egalitarian administration? No, not even that. I just didn't want to cause too much of a stir on my first day. Yeah, I like that answer. That's just a great political answer. That's enough, ma'am, said one of my guards while nudging the reporter away from me. I passed through the crowd was now open. We quickly made our way to the entrance of the palace. At the same time, a dozen fireworks went off. The entrance was decorated with beautiful ribbons in Sordland's colors of white, yellow, and maroon. A lush maroon carpet had been rolled down the stairs. We entered the lobby and joined the throngs of people making their way towards the ballroom. As I navigated through the crowd, a familiar figure stepped into my path. It was Bernard Circus, the acclaimed poet and now MP. His face bore a look of subtle defiance. Congratulations, President Rayne. A remarkable achievement indeed. Thank you, Mr. Circus. We've both come a long way from our red youth days, haven't we? Yes, we have. But some things never change, do they? I can't help but wonder how the winds of change will blow in our Sordland now that you've taken the helm. Perhaps now is the time that our long-nurtured dream of revolution will finally become a reality. Sordland needs progress, not revolution. Any upheaval will endanger our chance for improvement. Remember, to ride towards the sun is to invite flame, and only through fiery peril can true glory be found. The light of it binds us all. Danger and progress, they might be more intertwined than you think. I have taken up enough of your time, President Rayne. This is your night after all. Your family, friends, and country await. Thank you for sharing your wisdom, Mr. Circus. Enjoy your evening. Until we meet again. As I watched Bernard Circus blend back into the crowd, his words echoed in my mind. Were they mere poetic expression, or a reflection of the real socialist sentiment stirring within this country? Behind me, I heard a familiar voice. I can English. It's just a weekend, and I have decided, apparently, not to English all that well. There they are, the most beautiful family in Sordland. Uncle Peter. Hi, Uncle Peter. It's great to see you. You two are growing faster than I am getting wiser. You're a sight for sore eyes, Peter. Likewise. Happy to see a familiar face, Peter. Evelyn. Peter's wife, Evelyn, approached us and shook our hands with a firmness that belied her delicate features. Congratulations, Anne. I have to say, the results were clear to me from the beginning. Thank you. We both worked hard to make it happen. We know you did. You deserved the position. And tonight we reap the rewards. Yes, I definitely need a celebration after all that. I know you do. Monica, how are you? You barely said a word. I'm more than relieved to have this roller coaster ride over with. But of course, now the real work begins. Ah, yes. Managing the help, planning parties, daily trips to the salon to look your best for foreign dignitaries. Don't be so old-fashioned, Evelyn. I plan to use my power as First Lady to advance the position of women throughout Sordland. Equal rights for our sex are long overdue. When you say it, as though you can just be such a dick. Absolutely, and we'll work together to achieve that. Monica flashed me a smile. Anna suddenly jumped in between us and tugged on my sleeve. Papa, can we go? I want to see the ballroom. Yes, it's time. Let's go. We left the lobby and made our way towards the ballroom. Inside, we were yet again surrounded by a noisy crowd, but this time it was the politicians who sought to appease the new authority in Sordland. I spent the next few hours shaking hands, joining various conversations, some serious, some superficial, and making speeches. We finally settled down at our dinner table with the Vecturns as the band started playing some slow jazz tunes. Oof, that was tiring. We have to get used to it. Well, there it is. Suddenly a loud banging echoed from outside the ballroom, then another and another. The musicians stopped playing. Everyone in the room was looking around in confusion. Peter and I turned towards each other, realization drawing on both our faces. Fireworks? No. Gunshots! Nice effect. As soon as Monica heard the words, she lunged from her seat. I threw myself on Monica, Diana, and Frank to shield them. Papa, what's happening? I knew it. We never should have gone. Chaos broke out as some guests flung themselves under the tables, and others ran towards the doors, screaming. Then I burst into tears while Frank tried to comfort her, hiding the fear in his old eyes. 3 more gunshots rang out loudly. Mr. President, are you alright? Okay, this is a very serious moment, but they finally changed Carl Chris's profile picture because everybody was saying he looked just like Alfonso. So they had to change it, I guess. Carl Grice, the head of the Swedish police force, was running towards us with 3 more police officers in decorated uniforms. They all had their guns drawn. As soon as he made it to us and saw we were unharmed, he uttered a big sigh of relief. Thank God. What the hell is going on? 1 second, Mr. President. He turned around quickly to his men. Check the perimeter, now! Paul, Jansen, follow my lead. We'll bring them to the safe room. He now turned to Monica, Evelyn, and the children and spoke in a softer voice. Do not worry. The situation is now under control. Please follow me. We promptly followed Carl through the winding halls and corridors of the palace. His men still had their guns drawn, which did not ease tension. On the way, Peter made an attempt to break the silence. What a fun night. It's not over yet. Carl turned to us with a serious face as we were about to round the corner. Quiet, please. Sorry, I talk when I get nervous. Peter, shut up. Carl flipped the switch on the wall and a panel opened, revealing a hidden staircase leading to a large reinforced door. Inside, a set of emergency lights flickered on. The safe room was comfortable and spacious, with expensive-looking leather sofas. Small security monitors on the wall displayed grainy footage of each room in the palace. There was a boardroom and a pantry containing enough provisions to last us months. Monica and Evelyn sat the children down and started wiping their tears. Carl stepped away from us and made a few radio calls. When he was done, he returned to me and Peter. So, what's the status? Carl's radio suddenly crackled to life. Every second felt like eternity as he pressed his ear to the receiver. When it fell silent, he turned to us. Good news, we are not in any danger at the moment. The situation has been dealt with and the perimeter has been secured by the guards and the police. He glanced towards Monica, Evelyn, and the kids. If I may, sir. He gestured towards a more private corner of the room and started speaking more quietly. This is what we know so far. We have confirmed that 2 people were gunned down in front of the palace. The attacker is one of them, and we have reason to believe he was working alone. He fired 3 shots at an MP, 1 to the head, 2 to the body, killing him instantly. Presidential guards at the palace immediately shot and killed the attacker. He has not been identified yet, and will require an investigation. The MP that was killed was identified as Bernard Circus. This is huge, Ed. This will cause a lot of problems. A lot of problems. Peter pulled out 2 cigarettes and handed me one. He then turned to Evelyn. I could hear him trying to reassure her that everything was going to be alright. Monica was still trying to tend to Diana as Frank passed the room, mumbling that he should have stayed home. I sat down beside my wife and children. We're safe. I'll make sure everything's going to be fine. We can't be sure of anything anymore, Ed. I lit my cigarette and took a deep drag. I was going to see this through and keep my family safe. At all costs. I crushed the cigarette into the ashtray. So. A lot of very immediate changes. Still get chills at that one. Like, I don't know. I don't remember. That scene may have been included if you were a socialist in your college days the first time around, and I just didn't get it. But having that scene before everything happened, it's just really heavy. Because we knew him. Like, we didn't grow up with him, but we knew him. So, a little bit of a different swing on all this. Empty shot, nation in shock. President Rayne gave signals about cooperation with Friends Director of the PFJP and Kazara Kibner of NFP ahead of the inauguration ball. Regarding the remarks of Richter about possible cooperation to fix the current problems of the Sword's political institutions, we want the other parties to join him in its endeavor, said President Rayne. Richter has long been vocal about his democratization plans, but maybe his demands for constitutional change might finally be a reality if President Rayne leads a bill together with Richter's PFJP. Sordland has been shot by grave news today as an elected member of parliament has been shot dead in a suspected political assassination. Police sirens were heard around the clock today as the wholesale police force increased security measures around the Capitol. The fact that such a violent act happened at the heart of the Capitol during the new president's inauguration celebrations has worried many citizens. The Red Youth has reported to have promised revenge. This seems like it has the potential to be a spark that will swirl Sordland into the political violence of the 1920s. All of which, and I think it is different. I have a feeling that will change for a lot of us, but it's different when you've lived through it. It becomes a little bit more real when these things are happening around you. Security measures at the Capitol have been heightened after the murder of Bernard Circus. The mayor of Holsworth reports that everything is under control, at least for now. Security around the palace has increased, and there is an investigation on the way. The mood in the Situation Room was gloomy. My cabinet members were gathered to discuss the shooting outside the palace. Lilius presented the initial report. Bernard Circus was shot dead at 9:03 p.m. in front of the palace gates. He was an elected independent member of the assembly, and as you know, a famous communist. She spat the last word out with some distaste. The guards at the scene were 50 meters away and immediately took action by responding and killing the assailant, who was identified as a member of the nationalist organization Young Swords. The president and the family were unharmed, praise God. Why Bernard Circus? He's always been an infamous figure. His poems had a large impact in the spread of communist ideas in Sordland. Many consider him a threat. Our investigators are suspecting a political assassination since the Young Swords have been threatening the communists for some time. This may well create a dangerous atmosphere where the left versus right political violence of the 1920s could spark once again. This is like, if I remember correctly, and this could just be because we were socialists back in the day, but this scene in the first playthrough was a whole different, like, more, it was also somber, but it was more like a thriller. This is just very, like, it's darker but more dramatic. A return to those days would be devastating. The coups are the reason why our country stagnated for a decade. Ian Morgan, the Minister of Justice, sighed. The Red Youth has condemned the killing, but didn't stop there. They promised revenge. This will in turn spark further aggression from the Young Swords. The whole cycle started because Bernard Circus expressed his views. You can't simply look away. Nia had always been one of the only members of the Justice Ministry truly deserving of the name. She had survived countless attacks on her character while fighting corruption within the ministry, and rising to power had only compounded her sense of moral duty. Freedom of expression is a part of our Constitution. We can't have anyone, let alone an MP, shot for voicing different opinions. The millennialist ideology that the Red Youth promotes poses threats to our country too. We should be cautious. Agreed. We are always watchful of internal threats like the banned Communist Party members who support a similar agenda as the Red Youth. These groups wouldn't resort to unconventional means if they were represented in our assembly. The high electoral threshold and bans are making these factions extreme. The Minister of Defense, Joseph Lancier, grunted in disapproval. He towered over the rest of us in full military uniform, his many war medals conspicuously on display. Don't be stupid, woman. These organizations speak against the state. The Labor Union of Sordland is also in the same boat. I wouldn't be surprised if United Cantana had a hand in supporting them. We should refrain from making the issue a political one from the start. We'll only add fuel to the fire. You're right. We need to calm the situation. Our government is capable to maintain security. Our job will be to reduce tension. Several police cars rushed past the Maroon Palace, and everyone went silent. Regardless, a full investigation into all involved parties is underway. We'll find the subversives and punish them soon enough, Mr. President. I'll do my best to help coordinate the administrative task. Justice will be served, and the rule of law will return to this country stronger than ever. Only if we stay vigilant as a country. We must think about the upcoming budget. It's too soon to jump to conclusions. Reckless acts will have dire consequences. Agreed. We need to be patient until we have the full picture. Lucia took some notes after checking the latest newspapers and reports. It seems that the tensions between the communists and nationalists will escalate further. It will be very difficult to pass any meaningful change if there's chaos in the country. We will make it through this and deliver our promises. Hell yeah, President Rayne. This will be it for today then. We will convene again soon. Thank you all and keep us updated. The meeting concluded and the ministers left the room with concerned looks. It was hard to anticipate what will happen next. All right. I'm surprised we didn't. I don't think the Radical gets their article in until we bury Circus, I think. Breaking news: Bernard Circus, a prominent independent MP known for his communist romanticism, has been murdered, leaving the Maroon Palace grounds after the inauguration ball of Anton Rayne. Why did they have us come here? I don't know. We'll leave it be. Oh, that's it. Okay, that's interesting. So, it tells you what cities are in what political designation, depending. Well, yeah, if it's important, it's included. Yeah, so PFJP hasn't made a lot of them, which makes sense because they're a liberal conservative party. So, yeah, the business region here is leaning more towards the right. I'm just trying to see how many mayors we have in our... There's a communist mayor. That's interesting. So it's not too far flung. Alright, I'm done playing around. Okay, we're gonna move on to the next turn. A few days later. From Volgan. Communist Party leaders suspected a bomb attack at 11:48 a.m. An unattended bag in front of the NSP office in Volgan was destroyed by the police on suspicion of a bomb threat, which were then verified. Upon further investigation, the Communist Party leader of Volgan, Milt Hanner, has been arrested in connection to the incident. And we're about to get a lot of political activity. Local police forces report that a wardrobe full of heavy military equipment has been seized in a young tourist culture center in Yen. Regulars of the place denied having any knowledge about the weapons. The owner of the building has been detained along with 13 other people. The police captured 22 rifles and 2 machine guns. The equipment belonged to the Swedish Armed Forces, dated 1929, but kept in good condition. firearms. The Belgian security forces raided the local Communist Party office after alleged attacks organized by one of their members and found illegal firearms in the office. The building had been closed and 22 members of the Communist Party of Sordland had been detained. Police overburden. We received reports of a lack of equipment and staff from the police forces and Estor. With the escalating violence in the city, the officers have been working 12. Yeah. Police understaffed. Salt dam at maximum capacity. The salt dam has reached its maximum capacity. The dam, a crucial element to the city's infrastructure, has been handling an enormous amount of water inflow recently. With the reservoir at full capacity, the dam's operational efficiency is under scrutiny. Maintenance checks are being conducted to ensure the dam's safety. That could be a problem if not monitored properly. Let's hope that doesn't lead to any actual issues. A cache found with Bloomberg made weapons include 47 brand new KA-74s, 2,854 bullets, 12 handguns, 27 grenades, and bomb-making equipment was found in the basement of an abandoned house in Suzerain. Yeah, got it right. Caught myself a little bit there, but got it right. Local Young Swords Youth Wing leader in Suzerain, enacted, has claimed responsibility for the organized attack in the Bluish market that resulted in the death of 7. His base of operations has been raided and he was found dead inside with 2 bullet wounds in the back of the head. The scene was organized to make it look like a suicide. How he shot himself twice in the back of the head. Go figure. International reports. Wharton critiques trade. Leader Vainola has diplomatically critiqued the imbalance of trade between our countries. Concerns were raised over how much Sordland profits from that trade in comparison to Agnolia. Valen. The latest diplomatic message from the leader of Valen warned us regarding a pathway from the mountain of Berja that allows traders of the state escaping the Sordland. President Victor Smolak has demanded that the border security to be increased. He also sent his best wishes about handling the protests in Sordland. Oh, Codex. Okay. And papers. Swedish politician shot dead. Unity despite differences. Sordland has 2 paths to the future, and this year is critical to decide which path we embark on. Amid a recession, the lack of stability and security caused by the death of Burner Circus. Amid a recession, the lack of security and stability, I'll just go with it, caused by the death of Burner Circus is an unacceptable reality. We need more jobs and a safe atmosphere if our country is supposed to grow and prosper. But how will we increase our employment and open new factories if there's blood flowing down the streets? Sordland will never reach its goals as an advanced society if we descend in a downward spiral of a splintering of our nation. Peace and prosperity now and forever. The only way out of recession, bailing out businesses. Thank you, economists. So pretty strong united front here by the papers all against political violence. The radical warning. Vaxland labor unions drive further decentralized economic growth and empower workers, building upon the foundations of Vaxlandian socialism inspired by Emmerich Hagel's revolutionary ideals. Labor unions are spearheading the next phase of decentralized economic growth and worker empowerment in Vaxland. This unique form of socialism, emphasizing a federal economic organization of society, continues to reshape the nation's political and economic landscape. The Vaxland Workers' Cooperative, a successful example of Vaxlandian socialism in practice, has demonstrated the potential of democratic, decentralized management structures. The model has led to a remarkable 17% increase in productivity and an impressive 33% rise in worker satisfaction. Encouraged by these results, calls for the expansion of decentralized structures across various sectors of the economy has gained momentum. In light of these successes, Volkswagen's Minister of Labor, Frieda Albrechtsen, recently unveiled a new initiative in Hayam, I have to assume that's how it's pronounced, aimed at further expanding infrastructure, promoting scientific and technological achievements, and fostering industrial growth. Guided by the principles of decentralization and democratic control, this plan seeks to build the Volkswagen workers' cooperative model and apply it on a larger scale. Interesting. So that is a very long but very clear economic treatise. Arcadian PMC descends on Maribon amidst resource extraction controversy. In the midst of a politically unstable situation in Maribon, that's not born, that's bone, the largest Arcadian private military corporation, Palantir Security Solutions, has deployed its forces to the resource-rich nation. Sources reveal that the PMC has been contracted by several multinational corporations to secure and extract valuable natural resources amidst the chaos. Maribon, a country in the continent of Rica, has been grappling with internal strife and weak governance, leading to a power vacuum. This has opened doors for foreign interests to exploit the situation and extract the abundant resources such as oil, minerals, and rare earth metals present within Maribon's borders. So Arcadia is nobody I think is gonna look clean coming out of this, but a very clear effort to kind of broaden the world here and make it clear that a lot is going on around us. It is a sad moment for Sordland. We have lost a renowned poet who not only wrote about the struggles of the working class, but also acted upon them. However, his decision to enter Sordland's politics was met with a sick attack that ended his life. This was indeed intended as a message for all opposing voices in Sordland. This is a it's a good obituary, and whoever wrote this on the team deserves a lot of kudos. They did a fantastic job. Now, on to business. Two Bluish women, okay, yeah, with affiliations to the Bluish Freedom Front have been caught in Hoso before they could execute a terror attack at a crowded rally. Both women are listed as wanted criminals and enemies of the state. This may be my favorite soundtrack. And there is so much good music in this game, but this may be my favorite. Arrived at the front of the doors leading to the Situation Room. Today's security briefing was arranged in two parts, starting with internal matters and moving on to external matters after a short break. The Minister of Interior Lilius Graf, and the Minister of Justice and Law, Nia Morgana, would join us for the first part, the law enforcement briefing. For the second part, the Minister of Defense, Joseph Lancia, would join with a few high-ranking officials, including the Chief of the Armed Forces, Vulcan Kruger. I opened the door. Lucian, Nia, and Lilius rose from their seats. Sir, please take your seats. Everyone in the room sat down except for Lucian. He put on his glasses and went through the documents in front of him. Shortly afterwards, he raised his head to address the attendees. Mr. President, ladies, we will kick off today's meeting with the internal security briefing. I assume everyone has already been over the agenda. We all have busy schedules, so without further ado, I will jump into our first topic. As we feared, the political atmosphere has worsened. The reports around the country indicate that tensions are rising as we feared. What is the status of the Bernard Circus investigation? I received news this morning that the investigation into the murder of Bernard Circus has concluded. Great news. I'm eager to hear about the details. After further investigation and testimonies, we have confirmed the motive and also the events leading up to the shooting. A few days prior, members of the Red Youth initiated a violent attack on a young Swords leader in Yen. We believe the young Swordsman called for revenge, leading to the death of Mr. Circus. Since he often spoke against the young Swords and the national sentiments in the assembly, he was a big target, not to mention his radical communist views. Political violence needs to stop now. Yes, we've kept it at bay for so long, but it seems that there are now new triggers. Lillis handed over a report and pointed at a highlighted section of the document. The investigation revealed a very troubling fact. The funding sources of the Red Youth have a clear link to United Cantana. Are you sure? Are you absolutely sure? Yes, we have found the cash trail. Several Red Youth members with ties to United Cantana have been detained, and the information extracted from them point to a preparation for a communist uprising. It isn't unusual for the superpowers to influence other nations, but I think this case is a little far-fetched. The left lacks popular support in Sordland. Nia eagerly lifted her hand. I motioned for her to speak. It's a small thing, but it's cute. I went over the report in detail. It would be wrong to jump to conclusions about a clear foreign interference. Wow, that is just a really oddly written sentence. It would be wrong to jump to conclusions about a clear foreign interference yet. United Katana has humanitarian and cultural ties with many countries, including Sordland. I also don't want to jump to conclusions. We shouldn't create a crisis with them. Nearly 3 decades ago, they funded General Rickard and tried to establish a communist dictatorship in our country. If it was not for Colonel Saul, we would have seen the real crisis. She took a sip from her glass of water and continued. Our police chief, Carl Greiser, has linked the funding channel to the United Katana Consulate in Bentvie. As we all know, the enemies of Sordland are many. We also have threats inside the country. As the government, we have all the power to deal with any threat that we face. If we give up essential freedoms to purchase temporary security, we deserve neither freedoms nor security. This is debatable. I would love, you would have to pay a very pretty penny to have people voice act this game, but I would love to imagine the very passionate read of that line left with, yeah, that's debatable. But it's a fair point. Yeah, that's debatable. But yes, we know what more security and surveillance caused to this country under President Saul. Let's not forget that President Saul, God bless him, brought stability after a long period of bloodshed and chaos. But moving on. Our highest internal threat comes from the estimated 20,000 strong British Freedom Front, led by the imprisoned Doolin Arga. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce that. They are a banned political organization, now a militant force that is trying to incite racial violence. Are they supported by our Bluish citizens? To some extent. Luckily, they couldn't attract a wide audience of Blues, but they could potentially attract thousands if anti-Bluish sentiment spreads in Sordland again. Lilius pointed to page 3 in the report. Our intelligence intercepted 2 crates filled with weapons close to the Rumberg border. They are filled with military-grade K-74s. We expect that more have been smuggled in. A group of Blues were caught with these guns at a checkpoint not far away. The governor of Bergen, Felix Braun, is already taking the necessary measures to counter the threat. Rumberg has been acting aggressively in the region for a long time. I'm not surprised that they would attempt to weaponize the Bluish people against us. This is worrying, very worrying. We need to keep a level head with Rumberg. They're looking for reasons to take action. They will play dirty while we play nice. It is a battle we will lose. This is grave news, but we must be careful not to stoke the fires of anti-Bluish sentiment. Unfortunately, Governor Braun is directly causing the tensions to increase with his increasingly anti-Bluish stance. I must remind you, Governor Braun is directly responsible for the arrest of Doolin Arca, the previous leader of the BFF. It's true that his methods can be extreme at times, but it was his policies that kept the region peaceful over the last decade. He's misusing the power given to him by Tarkin Saul. This insane authority of the governor is surely a root cause. It would be very difficult to revoke the special status of Bergia under the current circumstance, Miss Morgan. The presidents no longer have the authority Tarkin Saul enjoyed. For now, yes, but with enough justification for it, it would be possible. Anyway, We will discuss this at a later time. I'm guessing this will be key to, because there is a Bluish storyline, and deciding what happens to that region is probably a big part of it. So we'll have to keep that in mind. But the real question is, if we go that route, we can't just have it unsecured. We'll have to get security in the region first and in the country, then maybe we allow them some level of autonomy. I don't know. I have purposefully ignored what that storyline entails, so I have no idea what to expect. I guess we'll just get to it when we get to it. Tell me more about the special zone. As you know, Bergia was given a special status by Tarkin Saul after the full-scale uprising by the BFF against the Swordish government in 35. Those couple of years were disastrous for Bergia. Dulan Arga and the BFF declared war on us, openly attacked our people, and occupied entire cities. It was a massive uprising, but I'd like to point out that the longest time that they were in control of a city was 2 weeks. I wouldn't call that an occupation. Despite the arrest of Dulan Arga in 44 and the BFF seizing its activities, the special status of the region were never revoked. Today, the special zone in Bergia gives the governor insane amounts of authority. He was in trouble with the law before for not following the central government's authority. Unfortunately, Bergia also has its own police forces directly commanded by Governor Braun. They're not part of my ministry and only cooperate when they are forced to do so. This is a problem. Yeah, and suddenly he's not worthy of defense when he gets in her way. Fair enough. Even though our forces have the authority to serve in Bergia, the special zone leaves the security of Bergia mostly in the hands of the governor. That leaves my hands tied. We must reverse the situation. It's absurd that the Ministry of Interior doesn't have full control over Bergia's security. I agree. I have some ideas about it already, but we can talk about that at a later time. Nina gestured at Lilius. What is the second most important threat? It is the gang violence that is threatening the Nargis and Anland regions. 2 permanent organized crime families are at war, and the potential for bloodshed is real. Which 2 crime families? One is known as the Coronelli, and the other as the Skinner Cartel. They both used to be allies until a recent disagreement. Both are active in the cities of Narble and Esther. Lilius, I trust you can handle them. I am doing my best, sir. Lilius Graff sighed deeply. I shall be honest with you. With our current capabilities, we may not be able to prevent the further arming of separatists while maintaining order in Bergia, Nargis, and Atlan. If the law enforcement budget isn't increased, I can't be fully responsible for what happens. Our police units are spread thin as it is. In light of this information, I may need to increase the law enforcement budget. We will rid our country from separatists and violent thugs if you do so. I wish you would stop using the word thugs, Lilius. The real problem is corruption, which is fueling the gang violence and very likely the reason why these weapons were smuggled in. A higher budget can help us in that. I mean, all these are good answers. I forgot which one I answered with last time. Valid point. Corruption is the root of evil after all. We can look into corruption once the weapons have been found and the gangs have been beaten. Just like the previous administration is kicking the can down the road. This is what's destroying our institutions. Lilius and Nia were openly scowling at each other. Lilius turned back to her notes. Well, this concludes the topics for the internal portion. Thank you for the updates, Mrs. Graff, Mrs. Borgna. Mrs. Is she married? Wait, hold on. Wait. We kind of need this answered because they were kind of, sort of hinting at in the last game that she was, crap, what's her name? Ciara? Is it Ciara? I think it's Ciara. Hold on, I need this answer now. Yeah, Ciara. They were hinting that they were a thing. Or at least overtly flirtatious while we were trying to do government business. I need this answered. Or is Lucian just being really, really polite, as is his way of doing things? I don't know. Thank you for the overview. Have a good day. Until next time. Screw off. 2 minutes was left in the room. We took a short break before continuing to the second part. Upon invitation, Joseph Lancia, along with 3 high-ranking officials from the Ministry of Defense, walked into the room. One of the men were none other than General Kruger, the chief of the armed forces. Joseph made his way towards the table while the others stood by the door. Mr. President. Joseph, welcome. I brought General Kruger with me due to the escalation on our borders. General Kruger stepped forward and saluted. He had a strong jaw with sharp cheekbones. His tall stature, uniform, and medals combined with his deep and intense stare made him look threatening. He was in his 70s, yet had a bulky body that was a result of his commando training. That got confusing. Not only was he the second most decorated officer in Sordland, he was also the longest serving. I saluted him. He smiled at the gesture and bowed his head in respect. Joseph tapped his foot impatiently. He seemed uneasy with the presence of another high-ranking officer in the room. Gentlemen, thank you for coming to the significant gathering. Let's begin. Joseph and Vulcan took their seats at the table while the rest of the officers stood by the door. Mr. President, the situation at the western and northern borders towards Rumburg is very tense. We are observing deployments of divisions closer to our border. Rumburg has been acting increasingly expansionist in the past decades, and has also interfered in Agnolia. But now they have turned their sights on us. What is your current strategy? Patrolling close to the borders with our border force and keeping Army Reserve divisions near. It seems like they want to increase the pressure both externally and internally. Mr. President, if I may, please, General. The picture is becoming clearer. The latest information from the interior about the weapons caches, and now there is an active military buildup close to our borders. The entire situation was analyzed by our General Staff, and our prediction is that a future territorial incursion by Rumburg. I have complete trust in the General Staff. We will not let you down, Mr. President. The General Staff is composed of the smartest military individuals. I require an increase in the military budget to enlist more soldiers. Only then we can stand strong against our enemies. The enlarged armed forces will hold them at bay. Vulcan is right. We do need an increase in the military budget, although we don't see eye to eye on exactly how to spend the budget. That much we agree on. I have my concerns about Rumburg too. We need strong allies to withstand such a superior power. They are a nemesis. That is an understatement. Times are changing and war is coming, Mr. President. Whether we like it or not, we must be prepared. During the election, you said nothing about focusing on our military. I ask you to reconsider and to increase the military budget. The future safety of Sordland is in your hands. Maybe you're right. The defense of our nation is more important. I knew you would understand, Mr. President. Our forces will crumble under a decrease, and Rumburg will be much more compelled to exploit our weakness. Our country hasn't fallen to any invading force for 200 years. You cannot let it happen, Mr. President. We should find regional allies like Volson or Lesbia to deter Rumburg. There are several options on the table. Sordland must be able to stand on its own 2 feet. Sordland must be able to stand on its own 2 feet and be able to defend itself. Of the same mind, sir. We stand strong as we've always done. Everyone fell silent when a soldier entered the room and let Joseph Lancia know that a call had come through from the ministry. Excuse me, Mr. President. Joseph left the room to answer. A few minutes later, he entered the room again. His expression had changed. Mr. President, there has been Rumburgian military activity close to the Narble border. I just spoke with the local commander. Vulcan, we should go to the Vulcan, we should go to the ministry and get further updates from our branches. I got there. Understood. Raise the military readiness. Okay. I don't know what my tongue is doing anymore. Understood. Raising military readiness is the first call of action. If there is truly an extraordinary attempt, we will relay it to you immediately and wait for further orders, Mr. President. Make sure they know that we are observant and ready. Always watching, always ready, is our motto, sir. Hail, Sordland. Hail! They saluted and left the room. Bloomberg was already testing us, and the reports from the interior indicate interference inside our border. Wow. Yeah, I'm about to wrap it up. Communist, nationalists, Buddhist rebels, Bloomberg expansionism. What was next? Sordland has always been a key piece in the chessboard of the global rivalry between Arcasian and United Cantana. But in the recent years, there was no such aggression from Bloomberg. Not at these levels, at least. All it takes is one tiny spark to start the flames of war. The phone rang. Bloomberg had decided to close their consulate in Lockville. So, we have projected even growth for the moment, which is good, and that's because we decided to do the mega project. We will come back to. We'll come back and get these reports in the next one, and then have dinner. I'm going to get several glasses of water. Give myself a little bit of a break. But thank you very much. Like the video if you haven't. I'm just like, wow, what is happening right now? I'm just going to blame it on the weekend and the fact that the heat index is ridiculous. Like the video if you've enjoyed this episode. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. We have just hit 300 subscribers, which we have been kind of a slow rolling channel. This channel has not been a priority of mine. And that's just me being honest. It's not like I come home and figure out peak times to upload videos and all that stuff. And I don't always post stuff that is considered like the most attention grabbing content. But you guys have stuck with me. And most importantly, this game has been one that I have enjoyed and clearly you have enjoyed. So I just want to thank everybody who's been with me for this journey and everybody who's just come on and subscribed to the channel. Thank you very much. I hope you're enjoying the content. I hope you check out the other videos and things we've done. We have more content that will be coming in the future. And we just hope you enjoy your time here. So yeah, thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.